thank you so much for taking time to actually embark with me on a bit of a journey to know about Finland. So I'm Harri. You can call me Harri or you can call me Harry, depending on how you roll the R. And I work for Study in Finland. So just, well, later on in this we will have a quiz. So later on we will be able to determine a bit on what your existing knowledge about Finland is. But let me start off by maybe showing you where Finland is on the map, in case you wouldn't be, maybe just to maybe reiterate. So in the quite north, you would be able to say, in the neighbors with Sweden, for instance, and Norway. We are known for most commonly as the leader in education. Also, something that Finns actually are quite proud of is the lush green nature that we have, as well as the level of innovations that we are able to produce in such a small country as Finland, population-wise. I imagine that Indonesia, you have plus 200 million citizens. Finland has 5.5. So you will be able to. So the difference is quite drastic, but obviously we also see this as an opportunity for anyone who likes their personal space. Obviously, Finland would actually be able to offer that for you. Something that we share in common, for instance, with the Indonesian audience, is that we are rather tech-driven. So Finns are predominantly engineering-driven. We have a history of creating technical solutions as well as nowadays IT solutions and smart solutions to everyday problems. Finland may not be the most known in consumer brands, but that's why, because we do more business-to-business solutions, and we will be able to do engineering solutions that affect your everyday life. It's just that you don't know that the inventions are Finns. Apart from that, Finland is known to be a safe and a well-functioning society. In 2 years' time, in 2025, we will be celebrating the 30th anniversary as an EU member country. So in 1995, Finland joined the European Union. Moving on to, is this working? I'm stuck. All right. Someone maybe is able to help me with this clicker, but I can't seem to be moving forward. Could you someone maybe come on and help me with this, because I won't be able to change the slides. That's funky. Anyone? Just a moment. Can you help me with this so that I don't? Thank you. It doesn't matter. I can actually wing it. So while we are waiting for the clicker to be fixed, so that I will be able to showcase you something that in the next slide I would have, I believe it will be the next slide, is that we have. We're known for something that we've been topping the charts for the last 6 years, which would be happiness. Finland known for being happy and informal. Now, you might, if you know a Finn or if you encounter a Finn, you'll be able to find 8 Finnish higher education institutions already being presented only a few meters away outside this room. And we're known for being the happiest country in the world for 6 times running. That doesn't mean that we're smiling all that much, or we might not be the most smiliest person or the smiliest nation, but that we don't see smiles and happiness actually meaning the same thing. Instead, happiness to us Finns, it means something more profound. It's something. It's some sort of a clarity. It's serenity. It's you being able to focus and be have a vision and you not being bothered about minuscule things that are trying to interrupt or intervene with your line of thought. Finns are quite fixated on being able to set a target and go there, and it's not. And the secret is that it's not even hard, because you just basically have the time of the day to actually go through small steps every day in order to achieve what you're going for. And then in the course of time, you slowly you actually understand that, by the way, I may have not been smiling every day while doing this, but I've been actually able to achieve things, and I feel at peace. And the peace of mind is actually something that we Finns, we think that that's where the happiness stems from. But the average Finnish audience is baffled by the happiness reports that we read, and that actually makes us smile, and as weird as it is. So that's enough about happiness. One other thing I mentioned was us being informative. We're not big on titles, not by a long shot. And you'll be able to address people with very high authority. You'll be able to address them with their first name. And Finns have this. We like to call even the president of our country, Mr. Sauli Niinistö. We just call him Sale. So it's like or if you put it into a more day-to-day context, you don't get to see the president every day, but you get to see your CEO. You get to see the university lecturers every day. You wouldn't be addressing them as Mr. Professor or Madam Professor. Instead, you'd be calling them by their first name, whatever they will be. And obviously, in the case if you go to them repeatedly going, Mr. Professor, at some point they will stop you and say, please, I have a first name. Please address me by the first name. They would actually kindly request you to use their first name, because it's to us it's the low level of hierarchy is something that we're able to see in Finland, and it's so abundantly let's say built into the Finnish way of thinking and culture that to us Finns we actually might be blind on it. Good, we're getting somewhere. So that's happiness. We can go to the next slide as well. It's informal, and we can even go to the next slide. So this is, don't want to take too much of your time, but this is just for you to get ready for the next slides that I have regarding the Finnish higher education system. Yay, thank you, Celia. You're a godsend. So we have a higher education system that actually runs on two pillars. Oh, this does work. I'm not sure if you're able to see the red dot. It may not. The pointers maybe not working on that screen. But on the right side, you'll be able to see higher education institutions that are predominantly college-based. Oh, great. And this is someone's having a laugh at my expense, I guess. But we would have University of Applied Sciences as one pillar of the higher education system. And then we abbreviate the University of Applied Sciences as UAS, and they have a more professional orientation. So if you're into completing your bachelor's, if you're looking for placement straight after high school, bachelor studies at a UAS with a professional orientation might be your thing, especially if you're happy to leave it to the bachelor's and just pursue a career, let's say in middle management somewhere, in whatever field, or an engineering degree might take you 3.5 years, and then you'll be able to already enter your first job, your first expert job as an engineer, or as a sales manager, or communications manager, or whatever else, or as a registered nurse, for instance. Then, this is not right. I'm not, this is, don't mind, this is living a life of its own. We have roughly 10,000 of such students international in the Finnish University of Applied Sciences. Then, these would be the University of Applied Sciences that you have scattered around Finland, so around the map of Finland. 22 of such institutions in total, and you have 4 of such institutions here presenting. So please make use of the opportunity to have a chat with them. Then we have the university. We call these research universities or academic universities or just plain universities. And they combine quality research with high-level education. They also offer bachelor's and master's, but they also offer PhDs. The difference is that if you enter here, you most likely will go to your master's directly. Also, what is something noteworthy is that in the UAS institutions, you would have to have a minimum 2 years of work experience before entering your master's. So if you're looking for masters, if you go to an academic university such as this, the academic university, they do not require the 2 years of work experience, but at a UAS institution, if you go there to complete your master's, that's what you would have to have. You would have to have a minimum 2 years of work experience. Here, no, in these. So Aalto University, University of Helsinki, they offer only masters as well, but they don't require for you to have the work experience at all. In case you need to tap into some crucial points of information, just for you to check stuff, study info, great place to look at study options. There's more than 500 programs offered in Finland in English for you to have a look. If you don't know where to start, tap into studyinfinland.fi. It's the great place to start looking first. You will be quite soon, you'll be guided to further Finnish sites that are all reliable, all governed and maintained by the Finnish public authorities, so you can trust on the content of the information. The main application round, we're on the corner of approaching it, December, January, it's coming up, but don't worry, obviously not everyone is interested in the next intake. You might be interested in the intakes to follow. We do offer also doctoral studies and research. Something worth mentioning about PhD studies that they are free of charge. They don't have a tuition fee, so we offer them for free. We also offer tuition free if you study in Finnish or in Swedish. So if you decide to take your degree in the Finnish language, obviously it doesn't cost you anything. The trouble of that for you would be to learn the language, which obviously would benefit you greatly to get employed in the Finnish job market, obviously. I will go into the fees and costs just in a bit. So the fees and costs, the non-EU and EEA students are subject to tuition fees in all English for bachelors and masters. No, so exactly that. Bachelors and masters in English have tuition fees. PhDs in English, no tuition fees. Bachelors and masters in Finnish language, no tuition fees. Bachelors and masters in Swedish language, no tuition fees. All right? But obviously, I imagine that you'll be studying in English pretty. I'm fairly certain of it. And then on the bottom, living costs, the minimum 6,720 euros is required as a deposit for you to get the student's residence permit. But maybe let's not discuss about the student residence permit yet. Let's get you studying to Finland first. About scholarships, Finland unfortunately does not have a national scholarship scheme of any sort. We do have scholarships that are being made available by each institution on their own. And so what you would have to do is you would have to seek admission and then first off find the place that you feel interested in studying and then check whether that particular place has a scholarship being offered for you, and then you would progress from there on out. the sizes of the tuition fees or the prices of the tuition fees, they actually they vary. It can be 100% of tuition fee. They can even have an allowance for living as well. That will be the most extreme ones, and they are in the very few. Most of the scholarships are partial scholarships. But it's really hard to say what the amount of the scholarship is because it would depend on the institution and the program. Something, if I was to give you a range on what kind of tuition fees Finland set for English taught bachelors and masters, they would be anywhere from minimum 5,000 euros to maximum 15,000 euros. Somewhere around that ballpark per academic year. One thing that you would be noticing in Finland is that we do not charge by the credit that you study, we charge by the time that you spend. So nobody puts a limit on how much credits you can do in one semester. The average study load is 30 ECTS, well, since we are in a Europe fair, we understand that ECTS is the common European crediting system for studies. So the normal study load is 30, but if you can do 45, good luck. You can do that. And if you are able to graduate faster, obviously you will be spending less time studying, and so you would pay less. So the faster you graduate, the less you pay. But then again, I would have to remind you that please use time for networking as well, because if you intend to study in Finland and get employed, it's probably a good idea every now and then to just go and have a cup of coffee or go for some social activities with your study mates, just in order because the people that you're studying with, they're most likely going to hire you, or at least they might be able to point you to the right direction in terms of employment. Now, there was, so you get this residence permit for the full duration of your studies, and something that you would also probably enjoy is that you can work for a maximum of 30 hours per week alongside your studies. You don't need a separate visa in order to do part-time work when you study. We have students who work part-time during their studies, and they found this actually quite useful to help in the daily expenses. After graduation, you would have the option of staying in the country for 2 years for post-graduation. So 2 year stay-back visa option is made available for all international students. So you get when you get the student residence permit, you get it for the full duration of your studies. Let's say you're coming in for your master's for 2 years, and then 2 years you are able to stay in the country to seek employment. That's what we feel that has helped our international student communities in Finland. For job opportunities, even now, if you're interested in looking for job opportunities, there's a Working Finland website that you'll be welcome to have a look. I only have a couple of slides before I let Aino take the stage and tell you more about her studies. But before we do, we will be. I just want to talk something about the Finnish independency. As we are happy and as we are informative, we're also very independent. So we like to think with our own head, and we also assume the same. For like every member of our community, we would actually impose that on people. So we automatically assume that the person that we're talking to is a smart person, capable of thinking with their own head, and obviously that's a trait that you would find in the Finnish context. Lastly, we like to think that you being able to do the math on your own, you being capable of thinking on your own, that you would find this an investment worth your while. And should you have any questions regarding the return of this investment or the meaningfulness of it, obviously we are here to help you for the full duration of today and tomorrow. I have nothing further at this point, other than welcoming Aino on stage to tell you more about the students' perspective. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Harri. As said, my name is Aino Sadeniemi, and I'm a student. I'm currently also working at the Embassy of Finland here in Jakarta, so I am spending this semester here doing my internship. I study in the University of Vaasa. Vaasa is a smaller city in Finland. It's about 4 hours drive from Helsinki, so the capital. And Vaasa has about 67,000 people, which can seem like a really, really small city to Indonesians especially. And I was also a bit nervous to move to Vaasa because I had only been living in Helsinki before that. But after I moved there, I realized that it's a great city to study in because it's a student city. There's every 5th person there is a student, and there are many active student associations. And everyone, like all the students who move there are also kind of in the same position because many or most of the students move from different cities. So most of them are not originally from Vaasa, but from all over Finland. So everyone is also eager to make new friends and new peers in there. And that's why it's important that we have these student associations. They organize weekly events and activities. And well, during the busiest times, you can even find an event for every day of the week, basically. So you really don't have to be alone unless you want to. And everything also kind of revolves around the student life, which I personally really enjoyed because like student years are not, they go by really fast, so it's really nice to really get to enjoy those. And the events can vary from parties and going to clubs, but also to sports activities, yoga trials, even skiing trips, as you can see. And yeah, one bonus is also about studying in a smaller city is the student apartments, which are usually much more affordable than they are in the capital area. And at least in Vaasa there are also, and in Finland in general, there are many hobby opportunities and sports at discounted prices, which I really, really enjoy. And also lunch is a big part of our student life. Usually universities offer a lunch at discounted prices at the school cafeteria. So the usual day would be to attend a lecture at the university and then go have lunch at the cheap price at the university and then continue maybe at the library to study independently. I also enjoy the flexibility of my studies. I am currently living in Helsinki, so I'm also able to do some of the studies remotely. But this, of course, depends on the program that you attend to. But at least in my degree, communication in organizations, it's possible. And I could even do some courses while I'm here. But of course, my time is a bit limited with the work. So yeah, it's a bit. One thing about the pictures, here you can see a bit of the vibe of our events. During your first year of studies, you get these overalls. In Vaasa University, we all wear red overalls, but usually the color of your overall depend on the field that you study. But University of Vaasa really likes to highlight the unity, so that's why we all wear red overalls. And from the events, you collect these patches, which then after the event you can sew to your overalls, and that kind of also communicates to the other students on how active you've been at the events. So then you can see that some people have almost no space in their overalls left because they have been going to everything, and then some people have a bit less, or they are just quite lazy to sew those patches, which is also very possible. And yeah, you can also kind of design it the way you want. For example, I like to sew my name there, so it's easy for other students to remember as well. Overall, I understand that moving to a different country and maybe to a city that you've never heard of for your studies can be quite scary, but I really encourage you to give it a try, because at least I have really enjoyed my student life in Vaasa, and I hope that you will too if you end up there. Thank you on my side. If you have any more questions for me, you'll find me there on our Finnish booth. And of course, all of our other universities that we have here represented. At the end, we have also a small quiz for you about Finland. Just a second, I will get the questions. And to all, or if you get the answer correctly, we have a small goodie bag. So be quick. Okay, first question. What is the capital of Finland? Yeah, there.
It's Helsinki.
Yes, correct. Very good, very good. Congratulations. My colleague will give you the goodie bag. Okay, second question. Can you name a word in Finnish? Yeah?
Kiitos.
Yes, correct. So kiitos means thank you in Finnish. Congratulations. And then the final question. Can you name a famous Finnish person?
Kimi Räikkönen.
Yes, correct. Okay. Congratulations on everyone who got their answer wrong. Answer right, sorry. Do we have time for 5 more minutes? Okay. So if we have some questions, then for me or to Harri, we can answer together. Yeah, please.
As said by previous presenter, that every student have opportunity to get a part-time job, right, for 30 hours per week. And considering that the city, especially I know live in Vaasa is only 67,000 population. So I'm just wondering what kind of part-time job available for such student normally in your city particularly.
Well, I can answer on Vaasa perspective. It really depends. Many of my friends wanted to have some maybe a relaxed job, so they would go get a part-time job from a cafe or a store to really something a bit more relaxed. But then there are also many big companies in Vaasa. So there's, for example, Wärtsilä. So many students also get hired there. For example, for technician and that kind of. So it really depends. But there are job opportunities also.
Okay. And what normally, let's say, store close on that Vaasa city? I mean, like in here mall or something, what time they will close the business? Every night, say 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or what time?
Well, as a secular country, we don't have any particular religious holidays that much in Finland, so they are in a very few. Maybe Christmas and Easter will probably be the days that are most affected. But in terms of the normal routine, they would run from Mondays to Sundays. So even Sundays they're open from, I don't know, anywhere from 9 or the latest 10 a.m. they would open, the malls I mean, and then they would run open until 10 o'clock. But supermarkets, we have loads of supermarkets that are open 24/7.
Okay.
And so depending on maybe what you're looking for, if it's a novelty shop for a very particular kind of a thing, obviously they might be open for more limited hours. But the daily things and shopping centers, they will be open like at least 12 hours every day.
Okay. So 9 o'clock in the evening still crowded? Is that? But what's the
Well,
nightlife there? I mean,
normal in Finland to 9 o'clock in the evening. Well, I don't know. It might be very different from me as a government bureaucrat to maybe a student to what they're up to 9 o'clock in the evening. But it's certainly you will be able to go to a convenience store, or you'll be able to go even to the gym. You'll be able to do hobbies. You'll be able to carry out the daily things. But obviously, I guess the rush hours and would concentrate on, you would have the most amount of people moving about would be around maybe 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when the busy hour is. Because in Finland you work on average, my working hours per week, it's 37.5 hours a week. That's how much I work. And then I have 6 weeks of holiday every year. So 4 in the summer and 2 in the winter. And this is normal. And obviously, if you are a teacher in a Finnish school, obviously you enjoy 2.5 months of a break in the middle of summer.
all right.
So we are rather slow paced, or we are rather relaxed in our way of working.
Yeah, okay. Last question is, what's the average temperature on daylight and nightlife?
Average temperature?
Temperature.
Well, we have 4 seasons in Finland, so it really depends on the season.
Okay.
In winter, of course, it can get pretty cold, up to -20 or something. So you really need to have warm jacket and winter gear. But during the summer, it gets +20, even up to +30 if there's a heat wave going on. So it varies depending on the season. I think our time is up. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. And anyone who still had a question in mind, please don't hesitate to come and greet us at our booth. Keep us busy today. Thank you.